All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're breaking down a book with a title that's basically a command, Kuch Kaam Kar Lo by Amit Primate. This isn't your typical motivational fluff. It's a super direct, no-nonsense guide for anyone out there who feels like they're just spinning their wheels. The whole idea is right there in the title, do some work.
You ever feel that? You know you have potential. You can see the person you want to become. But there's this huge, frustrating gap between all that potential and your actual day-to-day progress. If that sounds familiar, you're in the right place. Because that's exactly the feeling this book tackles head-on.
So, what's the deal with being stuck? Well, the book argues it all starts here, with us getting trapped in what you could call standby mode. You know, you're powered on, you're consuming all this information, watching videos, reading posts, but you're not actually doing a single thing.
Let's talk about Ritesh, a character from the book who's probably way too relatable for many of us. His entire day is basically this loop. He scrolls through Instagram, sees a bunch of success stories, gets this little hit of inspiration, locks his phone, and then, what does he do? He unlocks it and just keeps scrolling. He's binging on motivation, but he's not producing anything. And here's the core diagnosis, the big why. It's because overthinking feels good. The book calls it a comfort drug. All that planning, all that researching, all that visualizing, it gives you the feeling that you're making progress, when in reality, you haven't moved an inch. Okay, so if overthinking is the drug, what's the real problem underneath it all? Well, here's the book's biggest insight, and it's a tough one to swallow. The barrier holding you back, it's not out there. It's in your own head.
We are so good at making excuses, aren't we? I don't have the money. I just don't have time. I'm just not one of the lucky ones. But the book just forces you to look in the mirror. The real roadblocks are your mindset, the skills you haven't built yet, and the habits you're stuck in. It's not that you don't have money, it's that you're thinking about money is holding you back.
And this leads to such a perfect metaphor. Think about two pencils. One is perfectly sharp, pristine. It's never been used. The other one is a bit worn, but its point is sharp. Why? Because it's been put to work. Real capability, real sharpness only comes from action. So, if action is the key, where on earth do you begin? Thankfully, the book doesn't just diagnose the problem, it gives you a simple, practical, step-by-step framework to actually get moving. And this whole framework is built on one very modern truth. Skills are what pay the bills, not necessarily degrees. The book tells this great story about Priya. No fancy degree, but she taught herself Canva and copywriting. You know what? She quickly started making 60,000 rupees a month, way more than her friend with an engineering degree. And this right here. This is the engine that drives progress. It's called the learn, do, earn cycle. And it's not complicated at all. First, you learn a skill that people will actually pay for. Then, you do the work. You apply that skill to real projects. And finally, you earn from the value you're now creating. Then, you just repeat the loop, getting better and earning more each time. And listen, this isn't just some theory. Look at Jody, a 38-year-old homemaker. She saw a video about teaching English online and just thought, hey, I can do that. So she learned how, she put in the work, and just 3 months later, 3 months, she was earning 25,000 rupees a month right from her own home. She just followed the cycle.
Okay, that cycle sounds simple enough, right? Learn, do, earn. But if it's that easy, why isn't everyone doing it? Well, it's because before you can start that cycle, you have to face the gatekeepers in your own mind.
And here they are, your brain's greatest hits album of excuses. But I'm not an expert yet. But what if I fail? I'm just so busy I don't have the time. And maybe the biggest one of all, log kya kahenge. What will other people say? These are the real enemies standing in your way.
So how do you beat them? You have to make this one crucial mindset shift. You don't wait for the fear to disappear. Spoiler alert, it's not gonna. The only way forward is to look that fear right in the eye, acknowledge it's there, and do the thing anyway. You have to do it scared.
And acting scared isn't a one-time heroic act. It's about being consistent. And here's the secret about consistency. For a long, long time, it feels completely pointless. It feels like absolutely nothing is happening. You're showing up, you're doing the boring work day after day. Until one day, bam, the breakthrough happens. But it only happens after all that seemingly pointless work. So, we figured out the problem, we've got the framework, and we know we have to face our fears. Now we've arrived at the single most important part of this whole thing, taking that very first step. You know, it all just comes back to the title, Kuch Kaam Kar Lo.
It's the entire philosophy in 3 simple words. It's not a gentle suggestion, it's a command. Stop thinking about it. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Just do some work. Any work.
And to make it absolutely impossible to fail, the book gives you this micro-step challenge. The goal isn't to build an empire today. The goal is to do one tiny, ridiculously small thing. Create a free profile on a freelance site, watch one 10-minute tutorial, or just write one sentence in a journal. That's it. That one tiny action is enough to break the spell of doing nothing.
This quote from Carl Jung just nails the whole idea. At the end of the day, you are what you do. Not what you plan to do, not what you dream of doing, not what you tell everyone you're going to do. You are forged by your actions.
So we're at the end of this breakdown, and now the spotlight shifts from the book to you. A totally new story, a different future is right there for the taking. And it all starts with one single small action. So the only real question left is, what's yours going to be?